Hi, this is Josh with a review of SAT mock test number 1, the challenge problems as voted by students. Section 4. For question number 18, it reads, for questions 17 to 19, refer to the following information. When designing a stairway, an architect can use a riser tread formula 2h plus d equals 25, where h is the riser height in inches and d is the tread depth in inches. For any given stairway, the riser heights are the same and the tread depths are the same for all steps in that stairway. The number of steps in a stairway is the number of its risers. For example, there are 5 steps in a stairway in the figure above. The total rise of a stairway is the sum of the riser heights as shown in the figure. Question 18. Some building codes require that for indoor stairways, the tread depth must be at least 9 inches, and the riser height must be at least 5 inches. According to the riser tread formula, which of the following inequalities represents a set of all possible values for riser height that meets this requirement? Well, you can make the tread depth as long as you want for the foot to step on, but it has to be minimum 9 inches. So let's plug that into the formula. 2h plus d equals 25. And then 2h plus 9 equals 25, subtracting 9, 2h equals 16, and the height of the step, or riser, will be 8 inches. That's the maximum. Since the architect is following a rule that twice the riser height of the step plus the footstep depth must be 25 total, 5 inches will be the minimum. Because we can make d larger than 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, etc. But you have to stop at a certain point because written in the text is that the riser height must be at least 5 inches. The right inequality that represents this is choice C. 5 is less than or equal to h is less than or equal to 8, with h being the riser height of the staircase step. Question 19 refers to the same staircase and the step ratio of the riser height and the tread depth. Here in question 19, an architect wants the riser tread formula to design a stairway with a total rise of 9 feet, a riser height between 7 and 8 inches, and an odd number of steps. With the architect's constraints, which of the following must be the tread depth in inches of the stairway? Well, it looks like they're going from like one floor to the next higher floor for a total distance of 9 feet, total rise between the floors for the staircase. In inches, that's 108 inches. Since the architect says that they want to use an odd number of steps to go from, say, floor 1 to floor 2, we have to take 108 and divide it by an odd number. If we make 9 steps, then each rise of the step will be 12 inches. If we take 108 and divide by 11 steps, it'll be 9.8 inches per step. If we take the entire height and divide it into 13 steps, it'll be 8.3 inches per step. If we take 108 inches and divide it into 15 steps, the rise is 7.2 inches per step, and so on. We're given the constraint in the paragraph that they want the riser height to between 7 and 8 inches per step as folks walk up and down the stairs. Well, looking at this list of odd numbers, choose 15 steps for your riser height of 7.2. That will allow you to have a riser height that's between the minimum of 7 and the maximum of 8. No other odd number is within that range of 7 to 8 inches. Then plugging in 7.2 into the formula constraint, we have 2 times 7.2 plus the footstep equals 25 inches total. Therefore, the height of the the depth D will be 10.6 inches. That says H, that should say D there, but everything else is correct because we solved for H with 7.2. Yeah, that should say D instead of H, excuse me. So the depth will be D equals 10.6, and the correct answer was C. Question 26. A gear ratio R to S is the ratio of the number of teeth of 2 connected gears. The ratio of the number of revolutions per minute of 2 gear wheels is S to R. So in the diagram below, gear A is turned by a motor. The turning of gear A will then turn gears B and C as well. Well, if you look at the picture as I drew it, if you turn 20 teeth of gear A, that'll turn 20 teeth of gear B, but it'll turn gear C twice because it has only 10 teeth, because the teeth are interlocked. So by turning gear A one turn, it will turn a part of gear B, but that small gear on the right will be turned twice. In other words, the ratio of turns is 1 turn of gear A is 2 turns of gear C. So since it's turning at 100 cranks per minute, that will turn gear C, not B as it's written here, turn gear C 200 turns, and the correct answer is C for question 26. Question 27. In the xy plane, the graph of 2x squared minus 6x plus 2y squared plus 2y equals 45 is a circle. What is the radius of the circle? This difficult problem means you have to complete the square twice, first for the variable x and then for the variable y. Then you adjust the right side by whatever amount you completed each square with. Make sure that you have the scaled amount on the right side added as well. Let's see how this works. Well, first moving the x terms together, we have 2x squared minus 6x. So factor out the 2. We have x squared minus 3x plus some mystery amount. And for the y variables, we have 2y squared plus 2y, factor out the 2, and we have y squared plus y. We factor out the multiplier of the squares because we need to complete the square. Then taking the middle number b, which is -3, and dividing by 2, we get 3 halves, square it, and we have to add 9/4 to complete the square for x. Similarly for y, we have 1y as the b term. So 1/2 squared is a quarter. So we have to add a quarter to complete the square for y. Here you can see the packed squares here. 2 times x minus 3/2 squared, and 2 times y plus 1/2 squared, now that the squares are completed. Well, since we added 9/4 to complete that square, it's really twice that amount because the 2 was left factored. Since we added a quarter, it's really twice that amount. So to keep balance on the equal sign, we have to add that same amount on the right side, 18 quarters and 2 quarters. So that's a total of 20 quarters, which is 5. 45 plus 5 is 50. So now we have 2 times a square plus 2 times another square equals 50. Divide everything by 2, and we get x minus 3/2 squared plus y plus 1/2 squared equals 25. 25 represents the radius squared. Therefore, the base of that is 5 is being squared, and the correct answer is A. The radius of the circle, when graphed, is 5. Question 28. 2 different points on a number line are both 3 units from the point with coordinate -4. The solution to which of the following equations gives the coordinates of both points? Well, you could draw it as below as -4, and you want 3 units to the right, which would be -1, or 3 units to the left is -7. And then you can see that if you plug in -1, it works for A, or if you plug in -7, it works for A. So you can do this graphically. Using the tolerance formula here that you know from science class or pre-calculus class, we have x minus the midline equals the distance away from the midline. Setting that up, the midline or middle is -4, and the distance away that's tolerated is 3 units, up to 3 units, is D. So we do x minus -4 equals 3. And then with the double negative, we get x plus 4 equals 3, will show us the endpoints of the tolerated distance away from -4. The correct answer is A. For question number 29, a motor powers a model car so that after starting from rest, the car travels s inches in t seconds, where s equals 16t root t. Which of the following gives the average speed of the car in inches per second over the first t seconds after it starts? Well, if we set up the variables for the average speed or change, S1 is the starting distance, which is 0, and S2 is the final distance, that time t. The start time is 0, and the finish time is after t seconds. So therefore, if we plug in t, we get S2 equals the formula, S16t root t, minus the starting distance, which was 0, over t divided by 0. So basically, it's the formula divided by t, because we're going from 0 to t. And the t's will cancel out, and we get the correct answer, 16 square root t. Correct answer was B, 16 times the square root of t. Question 31. A group of friends decide the $800 cost of a trip among themselves. They're dividing. The two of the friends decide then not to go on the trip. Those remaining still divide that $800 cost equally, but each friend's share is now increased by $20. How many friends were in the group originally? Well, if you want to solve it algebraically, then it's $800 divided by X friends is the same as $800 divided by 2 less, X minus 2. But since that's $20 more, you have to offset that by a minus 20 on the right side. So there's the original group and the amount that would be paid, and the group with 2 less. Since there's no denominator under the negative 20, I'm going to scale it up by X minus 2 and X minus 2 top and bottom. Then we have 800 over X equals 800 minus 20 times X minus 2 over X minus 2. So we have a proportion. Cross multiply, and we get 800 times X minus 2 equals X times 800, which is 800X, and distributing minus 20X now squared, double negative is plus 40X. Simplifying, what we can do is we can move the square to the right side. And first what did I do? I distributed. I combine terms 1 and 3. So 800 plus 40 is 840X. Setting equal to 0, we have 20X squared minus 40X minus 1600 equals 0. Notice that that can be solved with the quadratic formula or with a calculator, but divide by 20 first, and it's a much easier quadratic. We get X squared minus 2X minus 80 equals 0. And by inspection, looks like 8 times 10 is 80, and that's a difference of 2. So set it up with X minus 10 times X plus 8. And then the solutions are X equals 10 friends or X equals negative 8 friends. Since certainly we cannot have negative 8 friends, we know that the correct answer is X equals 10, meaning that the starting cost, 800 divided by 10, was $80. Then with 2 less friends, 800 divided by 8 is $100. That's right, because 100 minus 20 is 80. And we have the correct answer, 10 friends were in the group originally. I hope that this video was useful to you in your preparation for your upcoming SAT exam. Thank you for watching my video.